Everyone, welcome to The Explainer. We're coming to you today with a breaking breakdown of a situation that literally every single one of us encounters, but we rarely actually stop to think about it. Right now, all across the globe, millions of users are being stopped dead in their tracks at these invisible digital perimeters. We are tracking a fast-moving, split-second gatekeeping sequence. It's a security checkpoint standing right between you and wherever you are trying to go online. And listen, this is not just some passive loading screen. No way. It is a highly active, mandatory security intervention happening in real time. So let's just dive right in and unpack exactly what's going down while you're sitting there waiting.
Okay, so here is the very first piece of intel we get when we hit this digital barricade. Just 3 little words, just a moment. Now, it sounds super polite, right? Almost conversational. But make absolutely no mistake, this is a definitive command. It is a hard stop. The second you see this flash on your screen, you've basically been temporarily detained at the border of a digital property. The system is flat out telling you that before you can go any further, before a single byte of data is exchanged, your presence has to be evaluated. You aren't just navigating freely anymore. You are officially in a holding pattern. And honestly, this specific phrase has become so incredibly ubiquitous across the web today. It is literally the universal signifier of the internet's border patrol at work.
So that brings us to phase 1, the pause, analyzing the digital holding pattern. We absolutely need to completely reframe how we look at this part of the sequence. It is so easy to just assume, oh, my screen went white, my computer's glitching out, or, my internet is being super sluggish again. But the intelligence we're looking at confirms this holding pattern is definitely not a passive delay. It's an active, hyper-vigilant security measure. You haven't crashed. You've just been intentionally paused so the system can audit your request. And the sheer speed of this timeline, it is staggering. Look at this chronological sequence, literally mapped out in milliseconds. At 0 milliseconds, the pause hits. Bam! Your forward momentum is instantly arrested. By the time we hit the 500 millisecond mark, just half a second later, the verification protocol is already in full swing. And this isn't just a quick glance at your IP address either. The system is running intense, invisible background checks. It's throwing silent cryptographic proof of work challenges at you. It's basically forcing your computer's processor to solve complex math problems behind the scenes to prove it's a real machine with actual computing power and not just some lightweight botnet script. At the exact same time, it's scoring your IP reputation against global blacklists and doing rapid browser fingerprinting to analyze your unique hardware and software. It's a massive amount of computational analysis being solved in the literal blink of an eye, right before we enter that 1 to 2 second window of just waiting on the server.
All right, moving right along into phase 2, verification, the security clearance update.
We've actually just received a critical status update on the situation here. This is the exact moment that holding pattern finally resolves. The system just wrapped up its rapid-fire analysis of your digital signature, and that period of the unknown, that really ambiguous pause we just tracked, is officially over. We're transitioning into a state of confirmed security clearance. You can really see the sudden shift in the narrative here. On one side, we have our initial status, that cautious, just a moment, and then the breaking update, verification successful. It perfectly captures the exact second you transform from a potential threat into a totally cleared visitor. It's basically the digital equivalent of a security guard checking your ID, giving you a nod, and lifting the gate. But on a technical level, what verification successful actually means is that the local system just minted a cryptographic clearance token specifically for you. Think of it like a highly secure, invisible VIP wristband. It tells the network perimeter, hey, this user passed the bot checks, their proof of work checks out, and they are officially cleared to move around the network for a monitored session.
Which leads us to phase 3, the ping, waiting for OpenAI.com.
Okay, but don't celebrate just yet because the sequence is definitely not over. This is a super critical phase in our coverage. The local checkpoint cleared you, sure, but now the responsibility shifts entirely. You made it past the outer perimeter, but the actual front doors to the building, they haven't opened yet. Everything right now is completely dependent on the destination server. A signal, a ping, has been sent out, and you are officially waiting for the final handshake to seal the deal and complete the connection. Based on the data we're tracking, the specific target here is OpenAI.com. And notice the active state. You're waiting for it to respond. You're verified, but you are not inside yet. You're just kind of standing on the digital welcome mat. During this incredibly precise window, massive background ops are firing off. The destination server is executing a TLS/SSL handshake to build an encrypted tunnel for your data. At the exact same time, massive server load balancers are rapidly evaluating global traffic, deciding exactly which internal server rack actually has the compute capacity to handle your incoming request. It really highlights a crazy reality. Clearing security is only half the battle. The destination actually has to have the bandwidth and readiness to take you in.
Now for a technical advisory. Mandatory client-side requirements.
We are now pivoting to an urgent technical advisory for you, the user. Up until this point in the explainer, the whole process has basically been out of your hands, right? It's all automated checks, proof of work challenges, and server pings. But the intelligence we're analyzing directly implicates the client side. If you want this ongoing event to actually resolve successfully, the action is now entirely in your hands. There are strict, mandatory client-side requirements, meaning your local machine, your phone, your laptop, your browser, has to be actively configured in a very specific way to survive this checkpoint. So here is the actionable two-step broadcast advisory. Step 1, enable JavaScript. Step 2, enable cookies. The system is explicitly warning us that without these two technologies working together in perfect synergy on your end, this entire verification sequence we just broke down is going to fail. JavaScript is the active engine. It's the code actually running those silent security tests and crunching the cryptographic math problems required by the checkpoint. Cookies, on the other hand, are essentially the passport book where your successful stamp, that cryptographic clearance token we talked about, gets stored. Without the engine to run the test or the passport to hold the clearance token, the checkpoint system is totally blind to your legitimacy, and your progress just halts immediately.
Let me just reiterate this so we are absolutely crystal clear on the situation. These are not recommendations. These are mandatory settings to continue. JavaScript must be active. Cookies must be enabled. You literally cannot negotiate with the digital checkpoint. And honestly, what we're looking at here is a massive point of friction in how modern web architecture is built. Think about it. The internet's demand for high, impenetrable security is actively clashing with a user's desire for high privacy. If you try to bypass this checkpoint with your privacy settings on total lockdown, using strict ad blockers or privacy-first browsers like Brave that automatically sever tracking scripts and reject third-party cookies, the gateway is simply going to stay closed. Why? Because these security systems actually interpret ultimate privacy as an ultimate threat. By hiding your digital footprint, you are actively stripping away the exact non-negotiable tools the system uses to separate a human user from malicious automated traffic.
So we've tracked the holding pattern, analyzed the verification timeline, broken down the cryptographic handshakes, and issued the technical advisory on how to proceed. You now understand the intense, split-second security operation going down right behind those simple words on your screen. But look, this intelligence is only useful if you actually apply it. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative question as we conclude today's brief. Right now, on the device you are currently using, are your cookies and JavaScript actually enabled for the next verification? Because the next digital checkpoint is always just a click away. Make sure you're ready to clear it.